8th May, 1949. This morning, Dr. Lakshmipathy, the well-known medical practitioner in both allopathic medicine and Ayurveda, arrived from Madras. Before seeing the wound, he questioned the Maharshi on the 5 koshas and the 3 bodies, which are spoken of in the Hindu Shastras. Bhagavan, as usual, gave him an Advaitic answer, which kept him thinking hard. In the evening, he saw the wound and declared it not as bad as I thought it to be, and directed Dr. Shankar Rao to apply on it a certain herb, which he named and which he declared would complete the healing process. Today, the tumor seems to have completely disappeared due to the application of radium, and the wound is nearly closed, although its base is still hard. Maharshi looks also much better and healthier. The radium needle was removed on the 5th. 9th May, 10:30 a.m. A small bag of kadaka, or myrobalans, came by post. Seeing it, the Maharshi said, "Oh, kadaka, but I am using it daily," and showed some by his side. The Ayurvedic school teacher, Sri Ramachandra Rao of Bangalore, got up and said, "If we grind some of these nuts and apply the paste on Bhagavan's wound, it will surely heal." Everybody was puzzled at the simplicity of the treatment and the magnitude of its effect. Bhagavan remarked with a twinkle in his eye, "Oh yes, he is a doctor and knows." All of us laughed, but loudest of all laughed the Ayurvedic man himself. We are told that the action of the radium will continue until the 5th of June, and that Sri Bhagavan's tumor is a peculiar neurosarcoma and not cancer. Cancer, they have said, is constitutional, so that if cut out of one place, it may appear in another, whereas a sarcoma is a local growth, which appears and reappears in the same place. If it appears on a limb and that limb is amputated, there is an end of it. But in this case, Sri Maharshi is definitely against amputation. 14th May, 1949. His Excellency, the Governor-General of India, Sri C. Rajagopalachari, arrived last night in a special saloon with His Excellency, the Governor of Madras, the Maharaja of Bhavnagar, and Her Excellency, the Maharani of Bhavnagar, with their aides and such and retinue, in order to open up the temple over the Patala Lingam. Mrs. Telayarkan, the hostess, received His Excellency exactly at 8 o'clock in the morning in the big Arunachalaswara temple in the township. After introducing him, Mr. J.H. Tarapur, as the donor and architect of the temple, his family and a few others, she delivered her welcoming speech in English, to which he replied in Tamil. Then he opened the temple at about 8:45, after which he returned to his saloon. Their Excellencies, the Maharaja and Maharani of Bhavnagar, drove to the ashram and sat on 2 chairs opposite the Maharshi, in a straight line with his feet. His Excellency said in English to the Master that it had long been his own and his wife's wish to have his darshan and sit on the floor rather than on chairs like now. Sri Maharshi remained silently gazing in space, as he usually does when not engaged in any work. Their hostess spoke to them in Gujarati, their mother tongue, and after 10 minutes they rose, bowed to the Master, and left to worship in the ashram temple and see the ashram round. At noon, their Excellencies and the party returned to Madras after lunching at the railway station with the Governor-General. 1st June. A small ceremony was performed this morning which made the new temple hall the permanent darshan hall, in which from today on Sri Bhagavan will meet devotees and visitors. After the ceremony, a big block of granite stone was brought and placed at a point outside, which the Maharshi could see from his couch across the south door facing him. It is to be his statue. It was plastered with turmeric and vermilion, and camphor light was waved before it for good luck by the chief sculptor, who made the first chip on it with his hammer and chisel. Last evening, a very old disciple of the Maharshi, now an old man, prostrated before him. I noticed a gauze bandage round his left elbow, and thought to myself that it looked as if he were imitating Sri Bhagavan. Hardly I had finished this thought, when Sri Maharshi observed him laughingly, remarked, "Ho, ho, you are competing with me. You have the wound in the same place as myself." Everybody laughed except the old man himself, whose sense of humor seemed to have deserted him at that moment. 15th June. The dressing has been removed. There is a prominent lump surrounded by a red ring, which does not augur well. Benzoin alone is painted over it. 25th June, 1949. Last night at about 9 o'clock, when Maharshi's left hand was being massaged, he asked that the upper arm, where the wound is located, should be also massaged, because it felt itchy. The attendant answered that the doctors had ordered him not to massage it lest it should bleed. "Is that so?" Maharshi remarked, and set himself to massage it rather briskly with his right hand, which immediately drew blood. This morning at 8 o'clock, Sri Bhagavan started talking. "Yesterday, Professor Subramaya spoke to me of curing diseases by willpower, implying that I should cure my arm by my own will. Did I ask the tumor to come, so that I might tell it to go? It came of its own accord. What then have I or my will got to do with it?" He seems to be determined to leave his disease entirely to itself, without a vestige of a wish to be well again, or an effort to think what should best be done for it. He worries over it even less than he would if it were a mere lump of mud on the wall behind him. 5th July, 1949. On the 3rd, the doctors agreed that no more radium could be applied, as the last application had burnt the skin and left the flesh bare. In any case, Sri Bhagavan will not allow radium application any more than he will allow amputation. The ashram authorities had therefore to call in the herbalist, who had years ago treated the fracture of his collarbone. Today he came and applied some herb paste with the help of the attending doctors. Their Highness of Mandi arrived with their son on the 3rd. Today, Rani Sahiba timorously approached Sri Maharshi with prayer to him to cure himself. In her gentle, soft voice, she threatened, "I will not leave this place till Bhagavan promises me to cure himself." The Maharshi merely waved his right hand, dismissing the proposal as of the least consequence.